Illini Bob has us. ILL.
I still don't think that's enough yelling that gives the note credit. So
You need to
we love you,
shake the
big dog.
screens, bang your fists.
Ready to do this?
Yes, I am.
All right, 2, 3, 4.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Basketball, gimme the
I
ball.
think we can get into it, boys. Where do you want to start?
Man, I mean, we could do kind of a crazy weekend. We could uh, just recap some of the big games we talked about last week. I do have a theoretical question to pose to you regarding coaching changes, but we
Yeah,
can
we'll
get
get
to that
into.
later.
I think we get into
Yeah,
coaching. I think we talk. I think we just start with Illini Bob, just because I'm sure he's got a word or
yeah.
two.
About
I
the
got a
about the
I got
game.
a
Yeah.
quick rant so the non-Illini folks can just skip through the next about 120 seconds. So first off, got to apologize to Big Dog's winners and his cronies that helped him write his speech last week. So I did not deliver it with enough enthusiasm. So I will uh, give any further notes from Big Dog the proper respect and enthusiasm they deserve. So that right there. But to recap the Illini game, uh, tough lost by 18 points. But really, if you look at it, I don't know if you guys follow the net success rate stuff on Twitter and how badly did we win or lose. And Illinois actually had a higher net success rate than Ohio State. Uh,
Wow.
put up more points than anyone's put up on Ohio State. Actually outgained Ohio State in yardage. So really looked good. Didn't look physically overmatched by, which is clearly the best athletes in the country in Ohio State.
hmm
You look at the yardage totals for Jeremiah Smith, Cardell Tate, Max Clare. None of them got over 45 yards. So really held their players in check. Just ultimately what made the difference in the game was kind of those mistakes between the margins, turnovers, catching a punt with your knee down in the backfield. You know that's four opportunities there that they got inside their own 40-yard line, and false start when you are on the 1 yard line. That's no good either. So um, feel pretty encouraged going forward. Looking at the past schedule, and I don't give ESPN FPI a whole lot of credit, but Illinois has had the toughest strength of schedule in the Big Ten so far and fourth toughest in the nation. Now, looking ahead, though, next 5 games, Illinois has the 63rd toughest schedule in the nation and 18th out of 18 teams in the Big Ten. So, encouraging path forward, and I think there is some positives to take out of that Ohio State game. So, I don't know. What do you guys see?
Well, I want to make an official statement from Big Dog's winners here. Got this straight from the desk. You can't beat the best when you don't play to the best of your ability. Run the table, and we're in. We are on to Washington. Illini Bob has us. ILL.
I still don't think that's enough yelling that gives the note credit. So,
You need to
we love you,
shake the
Big Dog.
screens, bang your fists.
Blood alone moves the wheels of history.
There we go. Take your shirt off.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It needs to be like Game Breaker from NFL Street or whatever.
We'll get Big Dog to. I don't know if he wants to unveil his true identity, but we'll get him on. We can blur out his face and cover up his voice a little bit. So
Yeah, I was just texting his agent. I don't actually know who Big Dog Winners is, so it'll be exciting to hopefully get him on the pod someday.
hmm
Well, I think. I mean, Evan, you got anything about Illinois before we move on to our game?
The net success rate stuff is super interesting. Yeah, it's like it's not even watching the game, like the mistakes they made or where they didn't perform as well in the margins. It was like the situation that they were in at that time too that really killed them. Like kind of turning points in the game. It felt like earlier on in the game too.
and
Um,
Ohio State. I mean, they always were able to still keep their arm, full length away,
Yes.
and kind of led tape to tape. But
Yeah. I will say,
they're
man,
the best in the country. So
brutal non-over for me for one of my best bets of the week. I really thought they were going to get that 2-point conversion and that would have done it, but I knew after that they were just going to hold on to the ball and that was it. So, but
Another real quick thing about this, I got to listen to this in the tractor this week, and it was just fun. I haven't really listened to a game like usually, you like stream it on your phone, but with driving a tractor, it's much better to just have it on the radio, and it was already pre-programmed. So it was a fun experience. And then Robbie's dad chirping the Illini once they started going down. So
he gets on the radio quite a bit during the Illini and Bears games.
yeah, it sounds like it.
the crowd looked electric. I enjoy like a bright color when everyone wears the same. The orange really pops on the screen too when you're watching on TV. So
I agree. I never wear navy to the games. Out and about, I will wear it, but just to the games, orange in itself is kind of an obnoxious color, and I think it looks good when it pops like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling. Iowa played pretty well, in my opinion, or they just played against a bad team. I think they played pretty well, but they did what they were supposed to do. Putting up 37.
Yeah, it really, before the game, I really didn't think, it's wild because when we, like, growing up, my whole life growing up, Iowa always measured themselves against Wisconsin. It was like,
yeah.
It seemed like Wisconsin, not every year, but most years, they had a very similar type of team, but a lot of times, like, maybe they just had a couple more stars on the line than we did, right?
In my opinion, real quick, you go to a Nebraska game, you go to a Minnesota game, they call you their rival, and you're like, no, it really is. You look to Wisconsin because Wisconsin's always been that kind of big brother, and we're big brothers to the other two.
When you had good seasons, you beat Wisconsin. When your seasons were not up to expectation, you lost to them.
I 100% agree.
And I'll say there's an awful lot of Nebraska hate on this podcast that call them a little brother.
They are. Statistically, they are a little brother.
They have been
recently in the last since 2015.
So in that sense, it's wild to me to see Iowa just manhandle them because even at Iowa's worst against them, like it's competitive still. Yeah. It's wild to see it be not a competitive game and pretty much be over within the first quarter.
And I think that's credit. I almost am like that's just the state of Wisconsin football right now. It's that bad where, I mean, something is chronically wrong to let your rival to not even put up points at home. They haven't been, I'll have to look this up. Here's another post-tense stat. When the last time they were shut out at Camp Randall? So,
I already think I saw that. It was like
I think it's 1980, yeah. Something like that, and it was against Michigan. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was certainly enjoyable from my perspective. Pretty stress-free Saturday evening. So,
and it's always nice to see a big man start,
rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. It's also just interesting, Fickell's tactic. He kind of used this Iowa game as motivation throughout the entire offseason. The 42 push-ups from the 42 points Iowa scored on him last year, and I almost wonder if that was like. It made the game too stressful for them. Like it made it like too much of a focus in a sense, right? Like they didn't just go out there and play. Like they felt like they had to, or their season was over. And that's kind of the way it played out.
37 points to 0 at their own homecoming game at night. Not a lot of spark, not a lot of will going on over there. And I think, Robbie, unless you had something, I think that's where we transition to our other Big Ten powerhouse going down, which is Penn State. Northwestern's not a good team, correct? Would you give them any credit this year?
I would say they're standard Northwestern. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty tough. Like they play Big Ten football.
Yeah,
They don't
I
shy
mean, you
away
have to
from
do
that.
Not going to be their
Yeah.
last Big Ten win of the year by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're terrible. I think they have a chance to make a bowl game, but I think that's about the ceiling is like a 6-6, 7-5, and
Yeah.
I think they were just tougher. I think I really my theory on James Franklin too is like his his stress was just coming out on the players of like everyone saying he can't do it after they lost that Oregon game. I think that just like diffused
Blew 'em
out
up.
to all the players. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
also
that's
caught
ugly.
UCLA at the worst time possible.
It's true. He caught a bad stretch. He really did.
This before I let Robbie dive into this, this would be week 4 because I said Oregon's going to win. I said it maybe time now, and now he's gone. So I like to think I was in the early stages of this one, but that's just me tooting my horn.
You were the catalyst that drove him out of Happy Valley.
Yeah. But no, I think it's, I mean, Bob, I think you are consistent. You are consistent about what I think you're going to go talk, what we've talked about, but you're trading in, you know, you don't know how close you are to the bottom.
So I don't think, I have a lot of coaching. We talked earlier on the show about just how many coaching availabilities are going to be open this off season. And so I understand wanting to get a jump on it, but looking at the current state of Penn State, I don't know if that job is better than maybe a Florida State, probably a Florida, who knows, Clemson, LSU. I don't know if it's the level of those type of jobs. Auburn more than likely could become open too. So I think it's a mistake to do it unless maybe you have that next guy lined up. But if that next guy is Matt Rule or Matt Campbell, I don't think that's enough of an upgrade to,
especially since you have to pay
firing a coach. I mean, the only coaches that have more wins than him the last 3 years are Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Day, and I think Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
So
I would
That
check
sounds
out.
are you going to get one of those guys? Because I don't think you are. So
This is what the kids call a crash out, in my opinion. Because this is like it's crash out on all areas. I mean, it's on Franklin, but it's also on probably the organization. You know, it's almost like the yips and not being able to get over. They played Oregon really well, in my opinion, and then just let that, like you said, get into the DNA of the program and just blow it up, which, you know, UCLA played a hell of a game, but Northwestern, after, you know, losing twice, you can't. So
at home too.
Yeah. Well, I almost think it was probably worse for them that game was at home because everything around that stadium is just toxic. Like, and you could feel it. Like those fans
Not the
were.
first time that's been the case.
What's that?
That's not the first time it's been that way in Penn State.
No, absolutely not.
So I think a bigger question typically is like, okay, who's going to replace Franklin? But I'm actually curious what you guys think where Franklin's going to go.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I mean, some obvious ones off the bat are Virginia Tech with their job opening. You know, kind of staying in the East Coast realm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it will be somewhere in that East Coast area. Kind of that's where he's from. That's probably where he has some of the better relationships. But you know, see what UCLA does too. That's kind of another one that's on the radar, I feel like. He's only 53 years old. I don't think by any means he's getting out of the game.
He was interested in the USC job when it came up before Lincoln Riley took it, but I think he's going to a TV desk for a year or two, relax, cash those checks, and maybe then get back into it.
Interesting.
Nebraska
Yeah.
and Penn State training coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could see a program who is on the cusp or is just middle of the pack that wants to no longer be there, and then that's I think Evan's got a little elf in his proximity. But yeah, I think it's really about I think a middle of the pack program that's still recognizable but hasn't been good for a while is probably his destination.
Yeah. Some
You know,
a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know if you take that and forego the buyout checks.
Oh, sorry. So, see, that's something casual fan here. I didn't know that. Yeah, you go to the TV desk. You cash.
Yeah,
You
why
cash
not
those
just hang
checks.
out, keep cashing checks?
Oh yeah, no, you go to the beach and you hang out. So
Yeah.
no, that's a good point. I didn't really realize that the buyout checks only.
$50 million there. So
No, I didn't know that it was only worth if you didn't. You can't take another job. So
We'll have to fact check it, but there's like
they'll
a
pay you
I
the
think
difference.
there's a certain threshold too where like he would have to make, right? So as long as he takes like a lower paying gig, whatever he does, he could still get that full payout, but I don't know what that exact number is. Um
and
I
or go for it, Ed.
I was just gonna say I did have while we're on this topic, I have kind of a theoretical question for you too. Um I personally I don't think Matt Rule is going to leave, but Penn State is his alma mater, so it's obviously possible.
And the
If
athletic director there was his athletic director at his first coaching job
at
at Temple.
at Temple, yeah, yep. So if he were to go to Penn State, I mean, I have a lean on this for sure, but is Nebraska or Wisconsin a better job opening right now?
Well, it's the struggles with Wisconsin's NIL have been very public. Lack of investment from the administration as well. Where Nebraska, I think there's probably valid criticism from Matt Rule about Nebraska not having enough NIL to compete at that top tier level. But what I think is going to happen is I think he's going to leverage this Penn State opening to get the donors to commit to certain NIL dollars. And, just the way it works out with him having Raiola for one more year, I know they have a shot to make a run this year, but they're truly a team that's built for next year. And so why is it worth blowing that up, I guess, is kind of my question. And I don't think it is.
I think both programs are in a lot of trouble, especially if you're going to bring a new coach in to both locations. But I would say the dumpster fire has definitely got to be bigger in Wisconsin, and the bigger opportunity is definitely to go to Penn State. To Franklin's, I feel like they've been existing in their own tier within the Big Ten for the last, where they're not an A tier, but they're an A- tier or a B+ tier, and no one else. There's never really another team with them within that space, So
yeah.
To Franklin's credit, like Robbie was saying, he's won a lot of games. I feel like it was a crash out, but I feel like they're just going to do some cleanup and be able to just in a few years be able to write, kind of like what Bama was going through, some growing pains. Definitely not the crash out. Bama didn't have the crash out that they did, but I think they could right the ship pretty quickly, especially because they've gotten to this mountaintop and now they're just, but Wisconsin feels like a world of pain. It could be a house of pain.
Yeah,
You get the reference.
I feel like there's a definite formula to win at Wisconsin, and it was done over the last, 20 years, just outside of the last 4 or 5. And that was not followed at all. So you would have to follow that same, Midwest type of formula.
Keeping the train moving, boys. Bobby Betts. What you seem to do pretty well this week. Any last touch-ups of our games from last week?
Not a ton of notes on my end. Didn't get eyes on Mizzou Bama, but by all accounts, that looked like a really good game. So even better cover. So.
Yeah, amen.
That
Dog,
that was a pretty awesome game. I think they should just keep the construction zone in one of the end zones. It's just kind of like it's wild to see just what feels like a crazy environment. It's like fourth down, Bama's got to get it, and then you just see cranes and like no people.
And that's how
It's
Vanderbilt
wild.
was last year. But
Yeah.
Speaking of Mizzou, I think one home run higher for Penn State would probably be Drinkwitz. That, in my opinion, that's probably the best realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of a dog. I would agree.
Ready to flip it to week 8.
I would just say that I'm not salty at all about Bob taking my spot in our Pick'em League at the top of the throne. We'll see what happens this week. I hope we just keep leapfrogging. Yeah.
It feels like you guys have blocked out everyone else and you're just dominating the pool.
I treated against my main competition is Iowa Ev over there, and it's pushing us to both.
I'm not gonna lie. I do get a little overwhelmed seeing all of the overs and bets that you are placing in this arbitrage betting scheme, Bob, because it really feels like Rain Man or like the Matt Damon movie,
Jason Bourne,
Jason Bangus. No, it's
Martian.
No, what is the one where he's got the chalkboard? He's the janitor. Good Will Hunting.
Do you know how easy this is for me? Do you have any fucking idea how easy this is? This is a fucking joke. And I'm sorry you can't do this. I really am, because I wouldn't have to fucking sit here and watch you fumble around and fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Robbie's sending me over a quant spreadsheet every week, or sending us both a quant spreadsheet. It feels similar to the manifesto that was given to us by Big Dog Winners.
So far, it's been more Good Will Hunting than anything else. So
this is my quant.
She runs the numbers, crunches. All right. Week 8. What do we know, boys? Evan, you want to start us out?
Yeah, I can get it rolling. Yeah, I mean, I'll start right off the bat. With James Franklin getting fired, I think it's just wild to me how this Iowa Penn State game, from even 3 weeks ago, the narrative is like completely different. Now Iowa, they were a 10-point dog to start the year in this game. Now they're like a 2 to 3 point favorite. And I will say the James Franklin getting fired and the interim coach bump that sometimes happens, like we saw with UCLA, like we've seen with some other teams, does make me a little more nervous. I almost would have rather just seen James stick around another week or two. But it's an interesting game. I feel good about Iowa, but I don't feel great. I think I could see, Penn State kind of starting to play as a team a little bit more because they got nothing to lose. And yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be as tight as the spread calls it, though.
I think which has totally flipped from opening line Penn State by 10 to I think is Iowa by 2.5 right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think it's a 5 p.m. game at Kinnick. I mean, every team likes to say, "Well, it's a hard place to play," but I genuinely do think Iowa's hungry right now, coming off a good win. Hopefully they can put them down early so that but that's not really Iowa football in general, except for last week for some reason.
And I still think, and I feel like the thing that's not being talked about that much is the fact that, you know, their starting quarterback is done for the year and they have a freshman for his first start coming into Kinnick at night. So that's like hopefully going to be a Phil Parker dream. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Stadium
So
shake.
I guess my only counter, you mentioned the interim coach bump.
Yeah.
I do think sometimes there's an interim quarterback bump in a way where
There's no
especially as a
film.
quarterback freshman, you don't have any film on him. You can go back and look at high school, but
Yeah, I was listening to some interviews they do player interviews on Tuesday, and they were like, yeah, there's only like 30 plays out there to watch if it's not high
probably a lot
school.
of handoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think he's thrown 2 passes this year. So,
It's good
yeah,
enough to read.
I think that's something to note for sure, Bob.
I'm laughing. I actually kind of almost feel bad. Going into the next week, we got Ohio State at Wisconsin, or Wisconsin's there. I don't know which one, but that's horrible. That I can't imagine what that locker room is like this week. Just to, I mean, to get thrashed, and they've already played tough teams this year, and they're, you know, that's going to be a thrashing again. That could be, I don't know, an easy 40 burger.
Since I am a little, just a tad bit of a sicko, I did listen to a Wisconsin pod after the game this past weekend, and what someone suggested, like, hey, maybe we should just pull their NIL money. I'm like, that's that's
Yes.
not going to work. Like,
Yeah.
That's a great way to get buy-in from a potential future coach is, hey, this
Right.
NIL money might not be here.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how to get better,
That's-
is that it won't be there.
So just to say, those are the ideas that are being thrown around amongst the
they're
fan
they're they're in the pain cave right now. They're figuring it out.
base. Yeah.
It'll be exciting to see if they win a couple. I mean, I think they'll probably get. You got seniors on that team. I'm sure they'll try to put one together at the end of the year. But
Maybe Minnesota.
tough
Look at
sledding.
Minnesota.
Yeah, seriously. Bobby, what are you excited about? Illinois, I think, are they taking a nap for a week?
Yeah,
Right?
off this week. So I can go through a couple quick games. No need to get into too much detail on them, but if I would have told you 3 years ago that number 10 ranked 5-1 LSU is going in to play the Vanderbilt Commodores and it's underdogs in Nashville, would you believe me? I don't think so.
Would you believe me?
I think that's a pretty good storyline there. And then it's just a big week in the SEC, Georgia Ole Miss.
That was going to be my call out. That looks like a fun game.
There's going to be a separation of powers in the SEC, especially with Tennessee and Bama as well. So
Yeah. Really a big time for Ole Miss to kind of show if they're for real. I feel like, I think they have this game on the road, then they have at Oklahoma the week after. So definitely that line looks to be pretty much split, I feel like, in terms of how the public's betting it. So
you don't really hear as much calling for his head with Alabama's head coach right now, and that seems very par for the course for a team that has a lot of people who are, we'll call them tavern hawks or whatever.
something about Alabama though is the next loss. Everyone's going to come back out of the wood. I mean, that's just how the job is. Had a question in the chat this week about big time programs firing coaches just on a whim. We'll see how it goes with Penn State. I think there's going to be some disasters that come of it and are going to make these programs think twice. But in this NIL nuclear war chest era, kind of you got to be putting the pieces in place months in advance nowadays. So.
Yeah.
Another interesting game we got rolling is USC Notre Dame. Kind of some historical programs there. Just kind of a, I guess I really. Is there one other
game?
Yeah, it's just interesting that for USC being in the Big Ten now, that they're. I guess I've never really seen a team take a. I guess I don't know of an example of a team taking a break from the Big Ten schedule to go play a game outside of the Big Ten schedule.
Historically, USC and Notre Dame have always played traditionally late season. I think last year
usually the last week. Yeah.
So
and
kind of a one-off rivalry there, but between those two teams, historically, has been a thing.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen the SEC do that for a while, where they kind of like they take a out of conference game like midway through the season, kind of right when conference plays get rolling. But not against. It's usually like against Citadel, School of the Meek and Mild or whatever.
University at Albany.
Yeah,
we put up a good fight. I'm not gonna lie. No disrespect to the what was it, Great Danes. So
yeah. On that Notre Dame Trojans game though, I kind of was kind of surprised to see Notre Dame as heavily favored. I mean, they're favored by like 10, but I think USC's. I don't know. They looked real good last week against Michigan. Showed they can actually play some defense now. So they have not done well in the last year or two going anywhere past Mountain Time Zone. So that probably is why that line is the way it is.
Well, I want you guys to dig deep into your pantaloons and tell me, what grambling are you going to do this week?
Years. Who started grambling? Who was the first big-time riverboat grambler? Who cares? Probably some hunk who said, "Want bet?" What are you waiting for? Let's go gramble.
Evan?
On my end, I'm really liking the Sooners in a bounce back game against South Carolina. I feel like they were another team that I think the EPA or like Bob talked about earlier with the Illini looking a little better than Ohio State actually, but still losing. That was kind of how they looked against Texas. So I think they're still a really good team. I like their spread. It's early in the week. I'm sure I'll have some more ideas come through as the week rolls on, but that's kind of my big one so far.
Bobby Locks, what do you know?
Yeah, early in the week, like Evan said, but one that kind of caught my eye early is UCLA minus 3.5 against Maryland team that's lost 2 in a row at home, and now they got to go travel across the country and play a team that just kind of you can throw the Undertaker meme up in the box. But Tina's kind of came back from the dead there. So
I have a prediction of the week that Bob is just going to be in the grain cart this week, riding on the glass window with a dry erase board.
I sure hope not, because the goals finish on Friday. So
yeah, well, I was just going to say no, but just the cooking up your bets, just trying to do some carry the two, trying to figure out how to arbitrage and beat Vegas. So, oh yeah, hopefully you're done Friday. Congrats. It beat my ass. I'm not gonna lie. I got soft hands. So Big Bob knows how to roll the cart a little bit better than I do, or put down more miles. So
a lot of coffee.
Yeah. And what
you boys are feeding us. You're feeding our country. Appreciate your service.
I think the last thing I got split the most bet tickets this week. It's kind of funny how that happens, where there's like, it hasn't gone below 2 wins, 2 losses and then a push. So you still lose money.
You say that though, but what was the push on that? Mizzou minus 3.
It was you're fighting Illini, and the push. No, I'm saying that was my loss.
Oh,
hold on.
Yeah, one of my pick'ems, I know Mizzou was at plus 2.5, and another one they were like 3. So
I lost Auburn, I lost Illinois, I won Indiana, and I won Texas. And yeah, you're right. I did push.
So you got a bad line on Mizzou, because I had minus 3.5. So
yeah, I think he had it at -3, but that
what
is the problem.
It closed at -3, but
Yeah, that is the problem. Like I have lost some of these too, where it's like I'm not losing
Bob
money
gets on
because
something, and then people.
once
Bob
smells it out, he's like a hound dog.
Wait.
once he wants it.
Wait, Bob, did your lock of the week hit last week? The Minnesota Purdue?
No, dropped by. I think it missed by 2 points.
Okay. Well, you never said it, so it,
Okay. I think it got posted post-mortem.
Oh, it did. Okay.
We'll
Drake made sure it got on there.
Yeah, we'll do another post-mortem. Try to maybe do a spread to lock in, but I think good pod, boys. I think it's a wrap. Anything else you guys
No,
got? I'm going to go have some soup.
It's third Saturday in October. Everyone enjoy.
2, 3, 4.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it! Basketball, gimme the ball because